Jungkook is crying. What is really going on behind this heartbreaking apology? Why was Taehyung so shocked and speechless? A shocking incident occurred when the camera was turned off. Is this the end of their friendship? Find the answer to this controversial question in a story full of emotions and surprises. Jungkook's heartbreaking apology to Taehyung. Shocking incident after the camera was turned off. Have you ever imagined a moment so intense, so personal, that could only be seen by a few closest eyes? A moment so full of emotion and regret, in which a person who usually seems strong must admit their mistakes in the most sincere way. However, when the camera is turned off, everything changes. What really happened to Jungkook and Taehyung? Why did Jungkook's apology make Taehyung surprised, even speechless? And even more surprising, why is this incident known to so few people? Imagine, after a big event is over, the camera that has been continuously recording their entire interaction is finally turned off. Behind the always awake smile and professional attitude, there are moments that they probably never thought would be revealed to the public. And just then, when the world seemed to stop for a moment, Jungkook revealed an apology so heartbreaking, an apology that even Taehyung fell silent, unable to express the words. What happened at that moment? What makes Jungkook feel so burdened? And why does Taehyung, who is always seen as a tough figure, seem so surprised and carried away? It all starts with an unexpected incident, a situation that changes everything in a matter of seconds. Unexpected surprise. We all know how the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung always seems to be warm and full of closeness that is so felt. As friends, they often show their affection in a way that is not visible in public. However, something is happening behind the scenes that shakes both of them. One question circulating among fans is, are they really okay? Of course, over the years, these two idols have often been seen as compact and supportive of each other. However, behind this seemingly perfect relationship, there is an invisible rift, something that appears only when the cameras are turned off and they are completely out of the world's spotlight. The incident involving the two of them reveals another side of the friendship that has been considered unshakable. The apology that shocked Taehyung one night after a performance, after the camera's glare had dimmed and there was only the sound of footsteps behind the stage. Jungkook approached Taehyung with a very different expression than usual. With a voice full of regret, he revealed words that made Taehyung flabbergasted. "I'm so sorry, Tae. I don't know how to explain this, but I want you to know that I'm really sorry." What made Jungkook feel so shaken? What had happened in the last few days that finally prompted him to express such a profound apology? For the first time, Taehyung was surprised. Normally, Taehyung is a person who can always give support and show obstinacy, but this time, he couldn't say a word. Something in Jungkook's apology made Taehyung feel a tremendous emotional burden. Hidden emotions we all know that K-pop idols often have to suppress their feelings in public. They became a symbol of strength, attractiveness, and professionalism. However, behind that, who really knows what they're getting into in their personal lives? What happened to Jungkook that made him so emotional? And what bothered Taehyung in the apology? This incident opened the veil of their deeper personal lives. Taehyung, who has been known for his cheerful and calm personality, now looks speechless. He could not immediately respond to Jungkook's words full of regret. Some people who were around them at the time said that the atmosphere in the room was so tense, even more tense than when they were performing on stage. Something that is clearly bigger than just a common mistake. Why is this apology so important? For the ARMY, the question that may arise is, what really happened between the two of them? Why did Jungkook feel the need to apologize so deeply, and why did Taehyung feel so shocked? What do we not know about their relationship that goes on behind the scenes? No one knows for sure what led to this apology, but some observers suspect that there is a growing tension between the two. Maybe it was an accident that happened during a training session, or maybe it was a misunderstanding that has not yet been revealed. However, one thing is certain. This incident changed their dynamics, even if only for a moment. Taehyung's surprising decision some time after that apology. Taehyung is seen taking an unexpected step. Is this a sign that something bigger is going on behind their friendship? Or maybe this is Taehyung's way of making room for Jungkook to heal himself from the invisible pressure? No one knows the answer, but one thing is certain. For those in the know, this incident was a turning point in their relationship. What happened after the cameras were turned off really made the fans think twice about what they saw on the screen. When the world sees two figures who are always smiling, it turns out that there is a deeper story that cannot be simply revealed. What will happen next? Will this apology be the beginning of a major change in Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship? Or maybe this is just one of the many emotional moments that they keep tightly. To be sure, this is a big surprise that brings us to a deeper question. Will their friendship last? Or will there be more surprises to come as time goes on? Surprising cover, and finally, as you sit back and reflect, the one question that remains is, what really went on behind Jungkook's so heartbreaking apology? We may never know the full answer, but one thing is clear. This incident has left a deep mark on Jungkook, Taehyung, and, of course, the army who loved them. How did this incident shake the world of the army? One thing is for sure: when an incident occurs between two figures so beloved by millions, the world seems to come to a standstill. For the army, seeing Jungkook's sincere apology, accompanied by a surprise involving Taehyung, was a very emotional moment. This moment not only affected both of them, but also shook all the fans who had followed their journey with BTS for a long time. Some fans who had been near them when the incident took place admitted that they felt very moved. They described the atmosphere in the room as a very personal moment, one that was even more intimate than just a concert or an appearance in front of the camera. What is visible to the public eye may be just a small part of a bigger story, but what happens when the cameras are turned off opens up a whole new dimension. And this is what makes this story so emotional: a confession that takes place in silence, an apology that cannot be expressed in words alone, unexpected reactions from other members. Although the center of attention is the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung, this incident does not only affect the two of them. Several other BTS members, who are often part of their interactions, also showed unexpected reactions. The other members seem to be aware of the severity of the situation, although they try to maintain their professionalism. However, behind the camera, we can see that their relationship as a group is never completely free of the emotional challenges they have to face. Most fans are wondering, what will happen next with the dynamics of the group after this moment? Will Jungkook and Taehyung ever be able to communicate again, or are there gaps open in their relationship that will continue to plague them in the future? In fact, some ARMY began to question whether the tensions arising from this incident could affect BTS's relationship as a group as a whole. One thing is for sure, though, that BTS has always had a way of supporting and protecting each other, despite moments of shock and tension. Unforgettable historical moments. What happened that night, after the cameras were turned off, will be one of the historic moments in BTS's journey, a moment that probably no one in the room will ever be able to forget. It is a moment that shows that although they are world stars surrounded by the spotlight, they are still human beings with feelings, faults, and tensions that cannot be hidden forever. However, there is one question that continues to plague the minds of many. Did Jungkook really apologize for something he did, or was there something deeper that made him feel the need to deliver such an emotional apology? Is it just about a small mistake that happened behind the scenes, or is there something bigger that even the other BTS members don't fully understand? Unanswered questions. While we can only speculate about what really happened behind the apology, some questions remain. What caused Jungkook to feel so sorry that he had to apologize in this very personal way? Was this incident a misunderstanding that happened behind the scenes? Or was there a long-standing tension between her and Taehyung that eventually exploded? And more importantly, will this incident affect their relationship in the future? For many fans, these questions further exacerbated their curiosity. How could two seemingly very close friends be subjected to an incident that required them to come face to face with their feelings so deeply? Why does Jungkook's apology feel so important, and why is Taehyung's reaction so profound? This moment really made us realize that although they look strong and unstoppable on stage, they also have a vulnerable side that is not always visible. This incident reminds us that even great idols like them have moments of weakness, conflict, and regret that can only be shared with those closest to them. Jungkook and Taehyung. Is this the beginning of something new? When the apology is said, one thing T.